I miss that element where people were coming to our shows and there was no expectation.
So you miss that part of...
Not at all.
No?
Yeah.
It has something romantic about it, doing it all by yourself.
I miss the tactile thing. I miss painting the records. We painted all the jackets in the last one, but we're still doing something like that because we're having our friends in Providence do letterpress edition for the record. So all the records that we sell when we travel on the road, and the first edition that'll be released, and the albums that come from our website are all done by hand by our friends in Providence, and they do beautiful prints. So yes, we love that. We love the idea that it's something that you can touch also, and that it's not that aspect is considered. But we don't have the means to paint, so many records ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I miss that aspect.
Yeah, and I also miss, the there's a I don't know if you want to call it like a beginner's. Maybe not beginner's mind, but there's a kind of, in those first shows that you play, when you surprise people, I miss that element where people were coming to our shows and there was no expectation. They didn't know what was going to happen. Who is this new band, where are they from? And that, we're still getting some of that, but that, being in those rooms where when the discovery was really being made, that the sound was was really happening for the first time, and the audience and us were both with it. And those were special times, I think. That first, let's say, like, I don't know, the first series of shows that we played in major cities that were 100 people at a show. You know what I mean? That stage was really exciting, and there was something about that, people coming, and I remember those nights in New York where, you looked outside and for the first time there was a line to see your show, and you're like, what is that? That was, and people are all like, the people who are coming out are really music lovers and people who had just heard of you through a friend, and there was a kind of excitement and a discovery that I think happens in those early, in those first shows in the earlier time that I do miss, and there's still, you can get that and still have that, and I think that's but it's more of a challenge now. It's a great challenge, and I think it's worth going for, but I do miss that.
So the sensation is not there when you play new songs for the first time?
I feel different about that.
Yeah?
I feel that was a really distracting stage of the process, and I really was uncomfortable with that. Probably that same time period when we were playing shows in New York, and shows felt like a showcase. You felt like a lot of people there are press or industry buzz people. That was just the worst vibe to go into a show and have that in your mind, that there's this kind of external evaluation that's happening of the music. I thought it was terrible.
Did you have to win people over? Or what do you mean? Or not the right people?
No, it's just that, New York, there's all this music industry and these shows in New York. New York's one of the first cities that we had a good relationship with because it's close to Rhode Island and has a great music scene. But going in there and having all these distractions was just totally unnecessary. And I don't like thinking about that feeling of discovery at all. I think it's distracting, and I think that you become you're seeing yourself too externally if you indulge that way of thinking about it. I much prefer what we're doing now, where we're able to think about sound and have some distance from like hustling our music.